How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and everything relating to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the finale for Wandavision is coming this week. We only have a handful of days left until we get that final episode. And of course, we're all wondering, what exactly are we going to get in this final episode? Of course, there's going to be a huge fight, but what other huge reveals are going to happen that are going to drastically affect Wanda and lead us into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? One thing that I believe is going to happen is that Wanda is going to have revealed to her that her father is actually not her real father, and her true father is Magneto. And if you're wondering how exactly could that happen in the finale of WandaVision, I'll break it down on how Marvel could do this in the finale so simplistically and so smooth, yet have an insane impact on the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the fandom, and of course, Wanda. So if you love WandaVision and Marvel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel videos. So as far as Magneto and the X-Men and mutants and the X-Gene is concerned, Marvel just kind of threw us a curveball in WandaVision Episode 8, one that got people thinking a lot. In WandaVision Episode 8, Marvel completely changed Wanda's origin for her powers in the MCU. Originally, in Age of Ultron, we were made to think that an Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone, gave her powers. However, as we were recently shown in the last episode of WandaVision, this isn't 100% true. As it turns out, she was born with powers. Now, a lot of people automatically said she's a witch. She's not a mutant, but she's a witch. She doesn't have the X gene. But I can tell you why she is indeed a mutant, and her father, her real father, most likely had/has the gene too, and is the famous mutant Magneto. So to start off, Wanda being a witch isn't 100% wrong. Yes, she is a witch, partly. That would explain her powers, and the Infinity Stone, like Agatha said, simply amplified her powers. But that doesn't explain a really big missing part of this equation. This does not explain her brother, Pietro. Pietro was not a witch. He has super speed, but he definitely doesn't know any witchcraft. And he himself did come in contact with the Infinity Stone. And as we took a trip down memory lane in the last episode of WandaVision, the two Hydra doctors explained that every single person that came in contact with the Infinity Stone died. That is until Wanda, at least. And considering the fact that Pietro was alive during Avengers Age of Ultron, we can assume that he was tested after Wanda and survived the contact with the Infinity Stone as well. So how did Pietro survive? He most certainly wasn't a witch, and well, Marvel already called him and Wanda in Age of Ultron enhanced individuals. But let's just call it what it really is. He's a mutant. Now, when Avengers Age of Ultron came out, Marvel did not have the rights to all of the Fox X-Men characters, and they couldn't actually say mutant in the MCU. However, Disney now does own the rights to all of those Fox X-Men properties and can say mutants and X-Men or whatever they want concerning these X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what really happened with Pietro to let him survive this contact with the Infinity Stone? Well, the Infinity Stone most likely awoken his X gene. And this is pretty much what Marvel told us in the past. The twins survived contact with the Infinity Stone because there was something different about their genetics. Basically, they have an X gene. Wanda had it in her and may have unknowingly used her powers as a child, but it really wasn't awakened in her until she came in contact with the Infinity Stone. Now, is she also a Scarlet Witch who can use chaos magic? Of course she is. I'm not arguing with that. However, I think that's most likely due to the evil elder god Chthon giving her part of his chaos magic as a kid like he did in the comics. Agatha talks about the myth of the Scarlet Witch, and the myth is that chaos magic never existed and the evil elder god never existed either. But in fact, Wanda actually got her chaos magic from the evil elder god who used to use chaos magic. And I believe we'll learn more about this in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So yes, she is a witch with chaos magic, but she's still a mutant. But sticking to our X-Gene story here, and I'm about to talk about how Magneto comes in, I don't think that Wanda is done learning about her past. Agatha could only show Wanda what Wanda experienced herself. So if Wanda doesn't know something, then Agatha wouldn't know that either. Like Wanda's parents. I don't think Wanda's parents are actually who she thinks they are. I think that the people that we saw in WandaVision Episode 8 aren't really Wanda's parents, however, I do believe she thinks they are. This is something that also happened in the comics. Wanda and Pietro found out that their real parents weren't exactly their real parents, but their real father was Magneto. And I think there's a very specific way that she's going to figure this out in the MCU, and I think that is Pietro. Not her actual brother, but Evan Peters' Pietro. Quicksilver from a different universe. Now, at this point, they haven't really revealed if he is indeed Quicksilver, but we have seen him use his powers. Perhaps Agatha gave powers to a person that she possessed, but considering the coincidence that this is Evan Peters here, it would make sense that he would have a much bigger role than a random person who is possessed. Not to mention, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to come up and is going to take off where WandaVision left off. We can assume that the multiverse is involved in some way, shape, or form right now in the MCU. So let's go ahead and say that this is Evan Peters as Quicksilver from the Fox universe. Him and Wanda are going to have different stories. In his universe, his mother was alive, and he found out that his true father was Magneto. And at the end of WandaVision, which is of course the next episode, when Evan Peters as Quicksilver is finally released from Agatha's spell, him and Wanda are definitely going to talk. They'll talk about everything that happened and most likely realize that he is from a different universe and will reveal that her father is actually Magneto. Wanda would most likely want to ask this Pietro about his life in the other universe, if she is alive, if their parents are alive. Because most of what is happening in WandaVision is about Wanda's past and her trauma. And Wanda and Evan Peters' Quicksilver actually brought up their parents a couple of times in a couple of different episodes. So once everything is said and done, she'll most likely want to ask again when he's not under Agatha's spell. And perhaps this is where Quicksilver could reveal something to Wanda like, those actually aren't our real parents. Our real parents actually ended up being these people. One of those, of course, being Magneto. Because even though they do come from a different universe, why would the parents be different when Quicksilver does in fact have super speed and his sister most likely has powers just like Wanda? He could say, "We thought our father was one person, but he turned out to be this incredible mutant who fought with the X-Men and Professor Xavier." Then Wanda could say something like, "What was our father's name? Well, we called him Eric, but he went by Magneto." I believe that something along the lines of this could happen at the end of WandaVision, maybe even in a post-credit scene. But recently, in an interview, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, did kind of admit that WandaVision is a gateway for the mutants to enter the MCU, which is another reason to believe that she does in fact have the X gene. And perhaps they could name drop somebody like Magneto, Professor Xavier, the X-Men. After all, if this Quicksilver is going to stick around in our universe, perhaps he will look for Professor Xavier's mansion and the School for Gifted Youngsters. Either way, Wanda's true parents have always been a really weird topic in the comics, but the reoccurring story for Wanda and Pietro in the comics is they thought their parents were certain people when they turned out to be different people. And I think that Marvel is definitely doing this in the MCU, and I think it would be a great gateway to introduce Magneto and the mutants. But we'll have to wait and see until WandaVision Episode 9 this Friday. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Be sure to let me know what you think about this theory in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates, you can always follow me on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.